Well, hello there, you lovely creatures of the internet. My name is Ollie, or the Seer Mystify, as I have apparently decided to call myself. And tonight, as you can see, we find ourselves in a bit of a different setting. And that's because today I am going to be telling you a story. So I wrote this story a few years ago, but recently I created an illustration to go along with it and captured some of it so that I could show it to you. Though I wouldn't consider this story to be part of the horror genre, and it's not necessarily scary or spooky or anything like that, but it does describe the day in the life of a 17th century plague doctor, and it does get quite dark. So, if you are new to my channel, I would definitely appreciate it if you would subscribe, because I'm planning on letting things get even more spooky here on my channel, and I hope that you enjoy. The sun was setting over this new parish. It was truly stunning, the way it spread across the large sky. Honestly, since it happened, everything seems so strong, so vibrant. The color of the sun through the glass domes of my mask, the feeling of the ever-dirtying streets beneath me, and even the herbs in my beak, which I should have long since grown used to, still strike me as overbearing. But it was soon after I recognized this that I realized I was becoming late. My new patients were needing me. Even so, I couldn't help but to watch some of the children of this new parish dancing on the street. They sang and danced in a ring, saying something along the lines of, "A pocket full of posies, at shoe, we all fall down dead." Something like that. They all seemed so happy, unaffected. I could not take my eyes away. Even after the song, they kept going, saying nothing of importance. Just living. I had not seen something like this in so long back in the old parish, where people were not all kept up in their homes, let alone dancing in these putrid-smelling streets. I started to wonder how they could handle the smell before they noticed me. The first was one of the girls who, too scared to say anything, whispered to the boy next to her quickly. He then shouted, "Beak doctor," and they all ran, scrambling like rats in the sewers. The last one, the smallest, hesitated, looking back cautiously. I considered waving, but the boy from before called him back over before I got the chance. The house was not far, and I could watch the increasing nearness of the red cross upon the door of the building. My calling symbol, I thought just then, perhaps was the last thing now to give me purpose. Purpose other than the nearing end. I took a breath of the less miasmic air and stepped inside. I prayed that my suit was undamaged and fully functional before removing my hat onto the rack. My coat, obviously, remained. It was easy to find the room, for the children's mother was slumped against the door, looking as though she had cried for days, which, truly, was not an unrealistic thought. I walked up to her, to which she swiftly stood up, opened the door, and ran to a different area of the house. When I entered the room, I was not surprised at anything I had seen. Everything seemed to look just as it always did for my jobs. However, once I had gotten closer, I realized that there was something familiar here. The pair looked horrible, although one much worse than the other, and they were surely barely recognizable. But I could tell in the fact that the two held hands across their beds in this state, and the way the healthier one of the two gripped onto the other one's hand, that he shared something with me. These boys were twins, just like we were. That amazing young man and I. He, the one who dreamed of larger things, who was to become so spectacular, and the one who passed much too soon, and I, who was a humble apprentice, who never desired much from life, and who may have been able to save him, but never even got to say goodbye. I was no longer in the same parish as my family, and I could not leave to go to him when he needed me most. How much I longed to be holding his hand like so, even with blackened fingers and covered in disgusting spots. But that was not the case. And even worse was that I knew the end to this story just as well as my own.
Please, let me examine you,
I said, as calmly as I could speak while these emotions bottled up inside me. They both knew the drill. They both showed every mark they had. They went through the normal routine, but they never once let go of each other. This made my job much more difficult, but I could not bear to make them do it any other way. Once I finished, I told them,
I want you to think of happy things, both of you, no matter how horrible it gets, because what you keep close to you now will be with you in heaven.
I said this to all of my patients, but it was never enough. For a moment I stood there, hoping something would happen, that something would change. I was startled when the sicker boy began to speak. He started, "Please, sir," but his brother cried out, "No, don't say it." The first continued anyway, saying, "I know I will not live much longer. I know it will be hard, but please, do not let my brother die. I would rather one of us live than neither." To which the second began crying hysterically. I was starting to become overwhelmed, and I didn't know how to respond, so I took a deep breath of good air and tried my best.
I understand, I told him. I understand it now.
They seemed a bit confused, but I continued.
I will move your brother away from you and out of this room, away from your bad air, and he will recover. Are you sure this is your wish?
Yes, he replied with little hesitation, and I carried out his wish. The other brother was furious and incredibly sad, and I understood this since I had felt the same thing for so long, but I also now understood why it was to be. The idea that I would give myself up for my brother was the same for him. I realized why my brother never sent for me to come back to his parish, and why he would be happy that I am still alive. Once I left the house, I felt something very different than I did before. Once I left, I realized that I perhaps was worth more than I had once imagined. So there we go, my first little narration thing. Fun fact, this actually started off as an AP history project, just like a little extra credit thing, and I ended up making it into this little book for a creative writing assignment afterwards. Though I do think it's probably more sad than scary or anything like that. I think the timing is kind of the spookiest part of it all. As far as the illustration goes, I'm pretty happy with it, but I will say I'm a little embarrassed to show you me trying to draw those kids in the background that are like 2 pixels wide, but at the same time I don't have that much footage of this just because I kept forgetting to record while I was working on it, so, you know, there's all that. But if you enjoyed this, please let me know, because I could maybe take you through a little tour of the rest of that book, or I could read other stories that you like and do illustrations for them, or I can just come up with some new ones. I mean, I haven't done creative writing in a while, but I ought to. And also, all of the music in this video was made by Dr. Creepin, who is an incredible like creepypasta, scary story type narrator person. Anyway, I'll definitely link him. Definitely inspiring. But yeah, of course, as per usual, if you like this video, please give it a like. If you would like to see more from me, please subscribe. And if you have anything to say about this video, please let me know in the comments. And also, if you happen to know anyone who might really like this video, please share it with them, because I am trying to grow my channel and it's a little rough, but I just bought a new camera and I'm really trying to stick with it. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you when I see you.